Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, honorees, welcome to the 2018 University of Delaware Alumni Association Award Celebration. I'm Steve Beattie, and it's my privilege to serve as president of the UDAA Alumni Association. First and most importantly, please help me thank Daniel Townsend, a UD graduate student, for the wonderful music we've been enjoying. I was here quite early, and Daniel's warm-up far surpasses any kind of accomplished playing that I hear on a regular basis, so very well done. Today we gather to recognize the outstanding accomplishments of our class of 2018 UD Alumni Association Award recipients: Laura Donohue, Zachary Sexton, Marianne Hangen, Blair, Kenneth Jones, Donna Fontana, Vance Kershner, and Marie Pinizzotto. Before we recognize this year's honorees, it's my pleasure to introduce University of Delaware's president, Dennis Assanis.
Thank you, Steve. Good evening. It's so wonderful to be here with you today. Elena and I truly enjoyed this evening. We enjoy all the evenings, let me just say that, but especially this one because it reminds us our 2-year anniversary on this campus. You know, that's where it all started, with this event some 2 years ago in 2016. And, you know, what an amazing period of time it has been with your love and support. You know, we've accomplished so much during this time. So today we're here to basically culminate the alumni weekend, a wonderful gathering of 5,000 people who were celebrating last night on the green, and we were praying for good weather, and we got good weather. So it was an amazing party. And the parties continue today. This is more like the Oscar nights. You know, so we have the best of the very, very, very best of the Blue Hens here with us tonight. And so thank you all for coming to celebrate with us these amazing people. We have with us the Warner and Taylor Award winners, obviously Laura Donohue and Zachary Sexton. Let me just tell you, these are the cream of the cream, la creme de la creme. You know, we have 320 honor students that graduate this year. These are the very best too. So let's give them a hand. And I can honestly tell you that we graduated 6,000, a little bit more than 6,000 students just a week ago, and they are all amazing. Each one has a fantastic story to tell about their accomplishments and what they've done here with us. So we'll miss them, but let's keep in touch. You're now joining another 179,000 proud Blue Hens. So that's an important legacy. So we also have with us the Outstanding Alumni Awards and the Alumni Wall of Fame Awards. Again, these are the very best of the best. You'd always be on a wall, so let's remember that. So among with the congratulations, I just wanted to say that these people here are the exemplars of what the UD stands for as a community, accomplishing terrific things together. What they've done really shows the weight and inspiration to many, many of the future Blue Hens, and I'm sure that they will be equally impressive. And I wanted to say that the alumni engagement and those exemplars are critical. As you know, this past year, we launched the Delaware First engagement and fundraising campaign. And obviously, it's not just about the goal. The goal was lofty. $750 million. We've raised now $615, thanks to your love and support. But more importantly is the kinds of things that we are able to do with this campaign. Some of you, as you were driving by, you can't really miss it. We're building a new city on the Star campus. There are a number of buildings there. And I especially wanted to point attention to the 6-story, 200,000 square feet Pinizzotto Biopharmaceutical Innovation Building, which will transform lives, and especially because we have with us Marie Pinizzotto. Let's give Marie a hand. And of course, that's surrounded by a 10-story tower and the Chemours Discovery building, which will create jobs in the area, but there'll be so many other things. And by the way, you'll all be able to get to the campus much more easily because we have a new train station that we're building. And so it's all going to be fantastic within 2 years, although we feel it's already fantastic. So with what I've said is I wanted to just tell everybody here in the room that you are our ambassadors, you are our friends, you are our Blue Hens forever, and we want to continue to build on your love and support. Any way you can help us, whether it is by offering an internship to our students or coming back to campus to connect or supporting one of the big causes that we have for improving humanity, any one of those, please stay in touch. Please remember that you came to this place to learn, and you continue to learn, and you've loved the place, and you want to give back to this place, and that makes you feel even better. So thank you so much. I promise, Steve, I'll be brief. Our goal for the ceremony today is that we'll have half the length than last year's, and I'm going to contribute to that. So thank you so much.
So that certainly is no pressure on speed. But when you did compare it to the Oscars, I did work out with Daniel ahead of time that if any speakers go on beyond the allotted time, the music will start. And we all know how that plays out for speakers when the microphone shuts off. So thank you, President Assanis. This is a proud time at the University of Delaware, with so many alumni returning to campus and enthusiastically engaging with our university. We are especially pleased that today's recipients, along with their family and friends, are here to accept their awards today. The nominators, friends, and colleagues of this year's honorees will introduce the recipients to give more of a personal flair and touch in terms of how they knew these recipients and their impact. Additional information about the recipients, including a listing of all past recipients, is included in your program. Also, it's an honor to have many of the previous award recipients with us today. So would all past award recipients please stand up or wave to be recognized? Now, in addition, I do want to recognize the UD Alumni Association, in particular the awards committee. It's actually a very hard-working committee, critically evaluating an incredible number of individuals. So everyone on the Alumni Association, and particularly the awards committee, if you could stand up as well, please, and be recognized. So that will wrap up the aerobics part of tonight's event. So thank you. We will begin first with the University of Delaware Alumni Association Emily Pusey Warner and Alexander J. Taylor Senior Awards, which honor an outstanding woman and man, respectively, from the senior class. Nominees must demonstrate outstanding qualities of academic achievement, as well as leadership and community service as exemplified by Mrs. Warner and Mr. Taylor. This past spring, I had the privilege of serving on the selection committee and also being part of a selection committee that interviewed all of the award finalists. And I have to tell you, I've said this in prior sessions and prior presentations, remarkably humbled when I see the power of the individuals. I have faith when I see the future with these individuals in leadership roles. And I also recognize I certainly am not doing enough with my life when I compared to where they are with their trajectory. So really wonderful interviews. So firstly, we have Ray Peters, the Assistant Director of the UD Honors Program, will introduce this year's Warner Award and Taylor Award recipients. Thank you, Ray.
Good afternoon. It is my pleasure to introduce the 2018 recipient of the UDAA Emily Pusey Warner Award for Outstanding Senior, Laura Donohue. I really got to know Laura last summer when she was applying for the Marshall and Gates Cambridge scholarships. We would have weekly Skype sessions, typically in the evening after Laura had finished her research at the Lasher Laboratory in Georgetown. She would tell me about her latest research with chickens, her conditioning workouts for the rowing team, and her latest adventures. One adventure in particular stands out. Now, I've told this story a few times. I may embellish a few details, but the truth is pure Laura. One night, Laura told me that she ran a marathon the previous weekend. By this point in our relationship, I thought, oh, that's nice. That's a nice way for Laura to blow off some some energy. Then she told me the marathon was in the woods. I thought, well, that's different. Then she said, and at night. I thought, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Sometimes comparison contrast is a useful way to understand what we don't know and don't understand. This is how I imagine Laura's marathon run through the woods. If an ordinary mortal, such as yours truly, would attempt such a marathon, here's what would happen. Me thrashing through the woods, branches whipping me in the face, rocks tripping me, every critter in the vicinity attacking me, me loudly cursing the very idea of marathon at night in the woods, and me quitting soon after starting. In contrast, I imagine Laura running gracefully with confidence, the trees raising their branches out of her way, the insects recognizing Laura as their friend, refusing to bite, Laura joyfully following her little beam of light through the woods while all the woodland creatures sing her praises. This is true. When I tell this story in front of her, Laura usually points out that it was only a half marathon. Like that makes a difference. So that gives you an idea of Laura Donohue, the person, a woman happy to strap a flashlight on her head and run a marathon through the woods at night, and then rise early the next day to return to chicken research. Let me tell you a little bit more about her. Laura graduated last weekend with an honors degree with distinction in pre-veterinary medicine and animal biosciences. Her senior thesis involved research of the avian respiratory microbiome, which is crucial to maintaining the health of Delaware's poultry industry. Laura demonstrated a fearless initiative in finding ways to learn about livestock production practices in other countries. She made her own opportunities and took advantage of them, working at a sheep farm in Iceland and a swine farm in Denmark. Last summer, she conducted research in poultry and equine health at the Lasher Laboratory, and during winter session, she volunteered at a small animal clinic in Costa Rica, yet another rewarding experience she found on her own. Outside of her classes, Laura filled her time with research and working at the UD dairy farm. For 4 years, she was a member of the varsity rowing team, which required her to be up early in the morning for workouts in Wilmington, in addition to conditioning sessions on campus. She also served as president of the outing club, where she planned and led a number of adventurous outings. Due to her leadership, this club is now one of UD's largest student organizations. While a student, she volunteered her time to serve at admissions events, usually on behalf of the honors program, and she was the keynote speaker at this year's Distinguished Scholars Selection Weekend. During the speech, I observed the scholarship candidates watching her with awe. When she finished telling them about all she did at UD, there was a group, wow. Laura will attend Cornell University's College of Veterinary Medicine this fall, where she hopes to conduct research in animal biosciences, focusing on pasture-based production, animal stress, and behavior. She eventually wants to improve food security worldwide. Laura, thank you for all you've contributed to UD, and congratulations on this well-deserved recognition.
Well, if I ever get blessed to be introduced again, I don't think it's ever going to be as good. So thank you for that. And I am so honored to have this award. It surprises me all the time. And to be held in such esteem with other past Taylor and Warner Award winners. I did want to say two quick, changes in diction that has happened in the past 4 years at UD. One of them my mom might remember. Sophomore year of college, I was sitting home at some point after probably a race or something, and I was like, okay, I have practice tomorrow, I think I have to go home, so I'll leave now. And I said this while I was sitting in my home for 20 years, and it was Merchantville, New Jersey, and where a whole town raised me, and I had said I'm going home to my university. So Delaware is no longer a university or a campus to me. It's now my home, where I have family and friends and faculty member that have helped me get where I am today. And one other change is that last summer I was sitting with the family I was staying with, and I had said, oh, I'm going to teach myself how to surf this summer. Like, it'll be fine. And they're like, yeah? I was like, I can do anything. And I can't believe those words came out of my mouth, because I remember incoming freshman Laura listened to people like me, and was like, I could never travel. I love their philanthropy, but, like, I can't do it. And so here I am today, and I'm thankful for all the friends who have grounded me, and the faculty who challenged me, and the classes that broadened my mind, and everyone here, like Mr. Peters, that helped me, and it's truly a gift. And now I'll go do what all good Blue Hens do, and I'll push the boundaries of what other people have done. And I have a responsibility with this award now to make sure that I go farther than expected, and I will look forward to coming home again and again every alumni weekend and many weekends in between. So thank you, everybody in the Alumni Award Association, for the opportunity.
It is now my pleasure to introduce the 2018 recipient of the UDAA Alexander J. Taylor Senior Award for Outstanding Senior, Zachary Sexton. My earliest memory of Zach is one I am sure he finds tiresome. In fact, he probably finds most of his memories of me tiresome. For Zach, I was yet another adult asking why in the world he wanted to major in both biomedical engineering and public policy. For me, Zach was the rare 17-year-old, a teenager who actually understood why adults were asking the question, a question for which Zach had a good answer. Even though I was impressed by his response during the Distinguished Scholars Selection Weekend when he was still in high school, I assumed that he would soon enough realize such an interdisciplinary approach, while ambitious, was impractical. As I've gotten to know Zach over the past 4 years, I became even more tiresome. When Zach was a junior applying for the Truman Scholarship, I quizzed him frequently about his plans. Last summer, when he was applying for the Rhodes, Marshall, and Gates Cambridge scholarships, I continued to ask him what he really wanted to do. Today, I stand before you and admit I was wrong to doubt Zach's intentions. I am skeptical by nature and by training, but after 4.5 years of giving Zach the third degree, he has convinced me that both he and his plans are very much for real. Last weekend, Zach earned 2 degrees from the University of Delaware, an honors Bachelor of Biomedical Engineering degree with distinction and an honors Bachelor of Arts in Public Policy. This unique combination of engineering and public policy sets Zach apart and helps him not only perform research, but also communicate it effectively and advocate for policy changes to improve society. Zach's research focused on the circulatory system, specifically trying to understand the formation of blood vessel networks during embryonic development. His research may be applied to improve strategies for organ replacement. Already, Zach is a co-author on 2 national conference abstracts and a co-author on a recently submitted manuscript for peer review. He has served as health policy contributor for the Roosevelt Institute, provided UD's student newspaper, The Review, with expertise on opioid addiction in Delaware. He was the founder and vice president of the UD chapter of Habitat for Humanity and served as an advocate for affordable housing in Delaware. Zach's busy life is not limited to academics, research, and advocacy. Somehow he finds time for volunteering too. In addition to Habitat for Humanity, he served as a student alumni ambassador for the Biomedical Engineering Society, the editor-in-chief for APEX Undergraduate Research Review, the outreach coordinator for the Blue Hen Leadership Program, the Student Government Association Academic Senator for the College of Engineering, and the mentor and founding member of OUT in Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. Zach told me that he considers his greatest accomplishment to be his positions as both a peer mentor and teaching assistant. Here again, we see Zach pulling together what seem to be very different disciplines. He wants to show others that the difficult problems we face today are opportunities for us to succeed in new and exciting ways. He believes this starts with being a quality mentor and educator. He said, I never planned to give up these roles, and I am humbled to have already gotten a taste for these within my undergraduate career. Zach, thank you for all you have contributed to UD, and congratulations on this well-earned recognition.
Well, as Laura mentioned, I don't think I'll be able to ever top an introduction like that later in my life, so thank you for having it so early. But something that I want to point out that was really important, as I've been able to do a lot of my volunteering work and advocacy work with Habitat for Humanity specifically, I've gotten a good view of how important a home is to an individual and a family, to call yourself part of something that you know is stable and that you can trust. And no matter what state you're in or where you grow up or what you're bringing to the table, knowing that you have a home to be a part of is crucial for your success in later life. And I think that not only extends to the physical boundaries we see in trying to bring more affordable housing to people through that organization, but also what we can call our homes at the end of the day, whether it's with our blood relatives or with our academic peers and mentors. So I think that today, stepping away from the University of Delaware, being able to call the University of Delaware a home is very important because it reflects a lot of the values and the skills that have been instilled in me that hopefully I will be able to take on as I go on to other adventures and push the boundaries in new and exciting ways. So I think that for the University of Delaware, it's always held itself in a very prideful stance to be able to take students who have a burning passion to do something and refine them with skills that allow them to actually accomplish that mission. And I think that's what actually ends up making it a home. And today, in front of administrators, faculty, and beloved friends, I'm happy to say that I'll be leaving the University of Delaware forever a blue hen and always ready to return home to my family. Thank you very much for this award.
So thank you for those remarkable comments. And I guess the only thing I would add, in addition to President Assanis, what you had said at graduation about the responsibility to change the world. As leaders from your class, you have a responsibility to be an active Blue Hen forever. We expect to see you back here. We're going to hold you to that and be a mentor for others to help set a path for them as well. So thank you for your leadership while here. So we continue the celebration. The UDAA Alumni Association's Outstanding Alumni Awards honor an alumna and alumnus in recognition of their exemplary volunteer work on behalf of the University of Delaware and or the University of Delaware Alumni Association. Past recipients have been honored for their service and dedication to the university's class and affinity reunion efforts, college and department advisory council and alumni boards, volunteer admissions support team, parent and family leadership councils, and affinity alumni groups such as Men's Crew Alumni Association and the Black Alumni Organization, to name just a few. Volunteers are vital and they're essential to many university departments and programs, and their impact is immeasurable. I'm pleased to welcome Paul Head, UniDel Professor of Music and Director of Choral Studies, to the stage to introduce the first Outstanding Alumni Award recipient. Thank you, Paul.
I see quite a few familiar faces out there today, and so I'm just going to tell you that I'm going to do something that almost never happens, and that is I'm going to read prepared remarks. Yeah, it's a big deal. But then I'm going to add my own, so don't get too excited. Yeah. Good afternoon. I am Paul Head, UniDel Distinguished Professor of Choral Studies at the University of Delaware and also the incoming director of the music school here. I am pleased to introduce, although I don't know how to properly say her whole entire name because I didn't know it. I'm pleased to introduce Marianne Hangen. Is that right? Marianne Hangen Blair. I just know her as Wonderful Marianne. A 2018 recipient of the UDAA Outstanding Alumni Award. Marianne earned both her bachelor's degree in American Studies in 1966. This was written for me. I'm not outing the years, yeah. and a master's degree in business administration in 1982 from the University of Delaware. Marianne served as a board member on the UDAA Alumni Association from 2007 to 2010. She was an inaugural member of the College of Arts and Sciences Advisory Council, serving 2 full terms from 2009 to 2013, and was invited to return to the council in 2017 by Dean George Watson, who is today in China. In 2011, she was honored with the College of Arts and Sciences Outstanding Alumni Award. And here we are again. Given her successful career as a financial advisor, which is where I first met her through a common friend named Dottie Flynn, she was a natural fit to serve as speaker at an estate and financial planning seminar for Carillon Circle members and guests of the UD's Office of Gift Planning in 2010. Marianne served as chair of the Carillon Circle from 2013 to 2016, and also served on a committee for her 50th reunion. A true lover of the arts, a true lover of the arts. She traveled to Spain, along with a lot of other places, we'll get to that, with the UD Choral in 2010, and hosted a luncheon for the current theater donors in 2012. Marianne is a member of the music committee of the College of Arts and Sciences and the newly established theater committee as well. While Marianne has given generously of her time and talents, she is also a tremendous benefactor of the College of Arts and Sciences and a strong supporter of the arts, including the UD Chorale and the resident ensemble players. There's a little postscript here, but what you don't know about Marianne, she is a connoisseur of fine wine, perhaps even a single malt here and there. We have shared many a wonderful evening with Marianne and her lovely husband, Joe, who there's this wonderful story you should ask her about a kiss near a frog in a garden. It's a great story. But Marianne, for instance, that she has traveled more than to Spain. Didn't you go to Debrecen as well? She has traveled several times with us to France, where she sings in the extension of the UD Chorale in our France choral program, and will be traveling with us again in a few weeks, both as a VIP, one of our most highly regarded members of our patronage community, but also she'll sing with the choir in the cathedral in Aix. But mostly, Marianne, I will always think of you as the ultimate choir mom. And I just have this vision of you just always having one more tissue for poor Megan, who broke up with her boyfriend right in the middle of choir tour in Tolosa, Spain. And she has been there for so many of our students over the years that she is a known entity in the Department of Music as somebody who not only loves music, not as somebody who makes music, but who brings meaning to the lives of the kids who come here to do that. She is most definitely, when you speak of home and you speak of family, this is Marianne Blair. So I can hardly think of a more deserving person on the planet to receive this award. She called me several weeks ago and said, "Do you think somebody from the music school would be willing to introduce me?" And I said, "Somebody cannot introduce you. That has to be me." Congratulations, Marianne.
I've been brought to tears many times by Paul's music, but now by his words. So I'm humble, I'm proud, and I'm grateful. First of all, I would say I'm grateful to my parents, who sacrificed a lot to send both me and my brother here to this fine institution. They were both teachers. They taught, between the two of them, civics, history, English, French, Latin, music. And on the side, my father coached every sport known to man to bring in extra income. My mother taught piano lessons, directed choirs. And I don't think I've said this often and long or strong enough, but thank you, Mom, thank you, Dad, for sending me here. Geez, I was telling Laura, you don't need your notes. We won't use our notes. Now I'm forgetting what I was going to say. I know. The alma mater, which I love to sing, starts out, and I'm not going to sing, but hail to thee, proud Delaware, in loyalty we stand. We lift our voices now to sing, all hail to Delaware. But the main verse I wanted to remember was that we remember the time at Delaware and the hands that held us and the blessings that we received. And I certainly remember that very well, all the hands that guided me, the guided hands, the professors, friends, students, in the dawning age of the 1960s revolution, and then coming back 15 years later and getting the skills that I needed for my career in the College of Business. It's been a real pleasure to give back to the university. I feel I've gotten more out of that than the university has gotten from me. It's just been wonderful forming relationships with faculty and students and staff. It is really a home and a family for me. And finally, I'd like to acknowledge my family who's here to support me. My husband, Joe, who, although he's a Harvard man, he says he's an honorary blue hen every time he's with me. My daughter, Jessica, who's a graduate of the university. My brother and his wife, Richard and Claire Hangen. Richard is on the Alumni Wall of Fame, and I followed him here. And they are celebrating more than 50 years as double Dells before the term double Dells was used, I think. And finally, I have 3 beautiful, wonderful grandchildren here, Vanessa, Sarah, and JP, and my soon-to-be son-in-law, Miles. So thank you so much for sharing this honor with me. And thank you all.
Good afternoon. I'm Mark Manniso, a member of the class of 1984 and a volunteer with the UDAA Alumni Association. And I truly am honored and pleased to introduce to you tonight Kenneth Jones. Like Paul, I have to say it's very difficult for me sometimes to work off a prepared speech, but I was told if I go off script, I may be in a lot of trouble. So I promise to behave. Again, I'm pleased to introduce my friend, Colonel Kenneth Jones. He's the 2018 recipient of the UDAA Outstanding Alumni Award. My mother asked me tonight to take a selfie of the crowd, but I'm not going to do that because I think that also would get me pulled off. And Evan's here to take pictures, and I don't want to crack his limbs either. So let me tell you a little bit about, thank you. Thank you very much for that, by the way. $20. I've known Ken Jones since I was a shy freshman at 18. And I had been injured as a wrestler here, and I wrestled for Paul Billy, and I was walking through the gym, and I came up upon this vivacious young man, and he was a super senior, and I was a freshman, and he convinced me to join the cheerleading team, and I truly was a shy guy, and he told me that he would teach me how to pick up girls, and I thought, wow, as a shy guy, this will be great. And he was talking about picking up girls, and I thought he was gonna, help me in other ways, but anyhow. So really, Ken Jones truly has been a cheerleader for this university and for so many. Ken Jones earned a bachelor's degree in business administration from the University of Delaware in 1982. and he participated in ROTC while a student. He went on to earn a master's degree in business administration from the University of Northern Colorado in 1987. Ken began his volunteer service with the Lerner College Alumni Association Board, including serving as its president. He joined the UD Alumni Association Board of Directors in 2005 and served in various roles until 2015, including 2 terms as treasurer and as its president from 2013 to 2015. Again, always a cheerleader, Ken speaks highly of his UD experience and is consistently trying to get others to join the alumni movement. Ken was a pilot aviator in the U.S. Army from 1983 to 1987 and retired as lieutenant colonel from the United States Army and the Delaware Army National Guard. Through his military connections, Ken was introduced to the Blue Hen veterans in 2014 and rode a bike with them from Arlington to Gettysburg to raise money for wounded warriors. His involvement grew, and in 2016, he founded the Blue Hen Veterans and Friends, a 501c3 corporation established to further assist UD student veterans. Ken holds a CIMA designation and is a vice president, financial advisor, and senior portfolio manager with Morgan Stanley. Ken and his lovely bride, Lisa, are double Dells. Is that my mother calling? That's right. Ken and his lovely bride, Lisa, are double Dells who have philanthropically supported numerous areas across UD, such as the Lerner College of Business and Economics and the Initiative Fund, and are proud to say both of their children are UD graduates. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join with me this evening in honor of Colonel Ken Jones.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it very much. It's very hard for Mark to get up in front of people and talk. He's very shy, and that's my fault because we came out of our shells at Delaware. I am so fortunate to be here tonight, and I'm fortunate because I came to the University of Delaware back in 1976. And it's hard to describe how much Delaware has done for me, and I'll try and tell you a little bit about that, and the way I'll describe it is what I'll call family. Because of anything that's important to me in my life, it's my family and my country. As a freshman at Delaware, I ended up meeting a gentleman by the name of Command Sergeant Major Dave Butters. Dave Butters is on our Wall of Fame, and deservedly so. He was one of the top NCOs in the United States Army. He was in the first class of Army sergeants to go to the Marine Corps Drill Sergeant School. At the time, the Army did not have their own drill sergeant program. He was one of the first, and he actually ended up being the honor graduate of that class, much to the chagrin of the Marines. And Dave Butters and Bill Bailey had a program of ROTC here at University of Delaware that was among the best in the nation. And as a result of that, as a freshman at Delaware, you got a quick orientation, and you got to talk to these guys. And truthfully, even though I came from a military background, I wasn't very interested in the military. My sisters are here. We lost our brother in Vietnam. I knew that war could be very hazardous to your health, so I wasn't overly interested. But Dave Butters talked about flying a helicopter and talked about shooting guns and rappelling down cliffs, and that sounded like a lot of fun. So fortunately for me, I ended up as an ROTC student at the University of Delaware, and that became my first family outside of my own family here at Delaware, and that was the ROTC students that were with me. And it was a perfect fit. I just felt like that was my group. And at Delaware, most people will associate with people on their dorm or other sororities, fraternities, but for me it was ROTC. And my second family that I got from Delaware is my lovely bride. She is a double Del. She was here for 4 years, the same time I was. I wasn't smart enough to graduate in 4 years like she was, but I actually met her at the Stone Balloon. And it was a match made in heaven for me. So I was very fortunate to meet my bride, Lisa, here at Delaware. And so that became the second family, because as a result of that, we have two absolutely wonderful children, Kirsten and Connor. And as a result, we are all four now Blue Hens. And we are the first in our family to actually become Blue Hens. A lot of people in the alumni, long history of Delaware. And for us, as a military family, we moved to Delaware for my father's duty assignment here as an advisor to the Delaware Army National Guard. So again, I'm fortunate to be in Delaware. I was very fortunate to be able to come to the University of Delaware. The third family I got from Delaware was my Alumni Association family. And it's hard to describe how enjoyable that transition and that experience was for me to be associated with some of the most outstanding alumni from the University of Delaware that I've had the pleasure of knowing. And I can't thank you enough for asking me to join that board and eventually asking to lead it. And Lauren's sitting there in the back, and she makes a lot of things happen, but appreciate all that you did for me and all that we were able to do back for the University of Delaware. The fourth family is a recent family, and that's the Blue Hen Vets. And as a result of being the president of the University of Delaware Alumni Association, I was invited to an event at what then was, Pat Harker was the president at the time, and we had this meeting, and I got to meet some of the student veterans, which are students who typically have prior military experience, and then they're going here to the University of Delaware. And that night, I met some of the most outstanding students that I've met here at Delaware, and we formed a bond. And as Mark told you, they asked me to ride a bicycle from Arlington to Gettysburg, which for an old man like me was a frightening experience. But it turned out to be very inspirational. You can hear my granddaughter speaking, actually. You see, that's why Lauren was afraid to let me speak. It's our genetics that we want to speak a long time, so I'll try and not spend more than my allotted time. So about 4.5 years ago, the University of Delaware was not on the radar at all when it came to military-friendly universities. My friend Jose is here, and Jose helped to instrument getting that organization together for us and facilitated me meeting those young students. And as a result, in the last 4 years, Delaware has gone from not being considered a military-friendly school, which we weren't even in the top 20%. In the last couple of years, we've been number 4 in the nation for institutions of this size, the Tier 1 research institutions, and I'm very proud of that fact. And I really, really appreciate all that Jose and the Student Life organization has done for helping military in this school. We now have a full-time advisor for the student veterans, and the student veterans here are doing a wonderful job. And so thank you again, Jose. I appreciate the support. As a result of that, we formed a nonprofit, a 501c3 called Blue Hen Veterans and Friends, to further support the University of Delaware students that are attending here. And in the past 4 to 5 years, we've raised about $50,000 to support those soldiers who ride with us in this nonprofit entity from Arlington to Gettysburg. And this year, my wife and my son actually joined us as well. So thanks to them for supporting. So family is what I got out of Delaware. That and a great education. And the education, I should thank Dr. John Burmeister for teaching me how to take what is very complex and make it simple. I would like to thank Eleanor Craig and Don Puglisi for teaching me a lot about economics and finance. I think that Delaware is no longer the gem it once was hidden. Now it's shining bright. And the University of Delaware is just this fantastic university that a lot of people now are starting to know and to recognize. And so, again, I'm a huge fan, and I know that most of you are as well. And the last thing I'll tell you is that the reason we are called the Fighting Blue Hens goes all the way back to the Revolutionary War, where the 1st Regiment of the state of Delaware, which was what is now the Delaware Army National Guard, they were known for their tenacity when it came to fighting. And obviously it goes back to the fact that they had hens that would battle one another, but it was their reputation as soldiers that carried through, and I'm very proud to be a Blue Hen. Thank you very much.
cover a lot of pages here. Listening to you both speak, common theme, passion, commitment, and impact. And I just really want to thank you again for all that you've done for the university and all that you continue to do. It really is making a difference, so thank you. So in recognition of the many notable achievements of its alumni, the University of Delaware and the UD Alumni Association established the Alumni Wall of Fame Award. In January 1984, the initial photographic exhibit honoring 54 prominent alumni was dedicated. Former students of the Reverend Francis Allison School, the Newark Academy, Newark College, Delaware College, and the University of Delaware were selected for their professional and public service achievements. Since the initial ceremony, 279 alumni have been inducted into the Alumni Wall of Fame in recognition of their professional and public service excellence, as well as their continued engagement in their alma mater. John Strong, a graduate student and recipient of the Fontana Family Graduate Tuition Scholarship in Education, will introduce our first recipient. Thank you, John.
Good afternoon. I'm John Strong, and it is my pleasure to introduce Donna Fontana, a 2018 UDAA Alumni Wall of Fame Award inductee. I just want to add here that it's very fitting that so many of the speakers tonight have spoken about home and family, and University of Delaware is my home, and I feel honored to have received the Fontana Family Graduate Tuition Scholarship because Donna has made me feel like part of her family with all of the support that she's given me throughout my doctoral program. So I'm truly honored to be here. Donna earned her bachelor's degree in business administration with a concentration in finance in 1985 from the University of Delaware, and also earned an executive master's degree in business administration from Columbia University. Donna currently serves as Senior Vice President of Sales at Fidelity Investments, a role she has held since 2003. In this role, she is responsible for identifying and securing new business opportunities for the company. Prior to joining Fidelity, she held Manager of Client Relations positions at Payne Weber and Merrill Lynch, where her responsibilities included marketing, technology, relationship management, and sales. She's an active volunteer with Citizens Schools, a not-for-profit that provides after-school learning opportunities for middle school students provided by local professionals, and has been featured in the New York Times for her contributions to the organization. Through this role, she has taught classes in financial literacy, healthy eating, and getting to know East Harlem in New York City. In 2012, Donna was recognized as Fidelity Investments Citizen Teacher of the Year. Also in 2012, she was awarded UD's Learner Alumni Award of Excellence and has participated in the college's Executive Mentor Scholars Program. In 2017, she joined the UD Board of Trustees. Donna has been a member of UD's President's Leadership Council since 2012 and the Learner New York City Dean's Council since 2014. Donna served as a panelist for Conversations and Connections, UD Women in the C-Suite in 2016. In 2011, she created the Fontana Family Education Scholarship to support students majoring in elementary education, followed by the Fontana Graduate Tuition Scholarship in Education in 2013 to support graduate students like me. Most recently, in 2017, she established the Fontana Financial Literacy Fund to support the Center for Economic Education and Entrepreneurship's initiative to assist in the development and implementation of the new Delaware Financial Literacy Standards. Donna, it is my pleasure to present you with the Alumni Wall of Fame Award.
So I did bring my notes. So thank you, John. Congratulations on defending your Ph.D. thesis proposal. I look forward to next year being at your hooding ceremony. You inspire me with the research you're doing to improve literacy education. Thank you to the UD Alumni Association for creating an award I was actually capable of winning. And the instructions that we got when we received the letter were, you have 2 minutes to tell about your journey. Okay, here we go. Thank you to my parents for inspiring me to learn and care for others, whether they have 2 or 4 legs. I grew up knowing that there was always room at the table for one more join for a meal. I don't know how the food always managed to be enough. To my mother, who instilled in me the resourcefulness, the quality I most attribute to my success. And to my dad, who encouraged me to be a good sport, a team player, and learn golf. I'll miss you. To my sister, for believing me when I said that it would not hurt if she let me practice my karate on her. And for never wanting me to be her babysitter, which I think was related to the karate. As an adult, you inspire me with your commitment to improving your community and your passion for servicing your customers. To Mrs. Green, my 3rd grade teacher, who taught me about recycling, and the reason I only used 1 brown bag for that entire year, much to my mother's concern. For Mr. Zapke and for Mr. Williams, who taught me about Z systems in high school and developing my public speaking skills in mathletes. They inspired me to encourage students to achieve more than they believe possible. I stand here vividly remembering my first day at UD, Honors Economics 101, never having taken an economics class before, staring at Professor Hutchinson, looking down at the textbook that he wrote that we were using. He inspired me to understand the world, how the world worked. And 37 years later, 28 office moves, I still cherish that textbook and the inscription that he wrote to me in it. Thank you, Professor Hutchinson. To Professor Puglisi, who, 20 years after I graduated, asked me if I felt, quote, UD had done right by me, end quote. You inspire me by caring about your students' success. So thank you for not asking me any finance-related questions at the trustee meetings. And the answer is yes. To Ruth, who listened to me, who understood what concerned me, and who helped me pursue a path to improve inner-city learning. You and your colleagues inspire me with your solutions. Thank you. To Allison, my first scholarship winner, who gave me my 2 minutes of fame with our infamous development video. At a recent career day at her middle school in Chinatown, New York, I wanted to thank her for letting me speak before the DJ. She inspires me with her enthusiasm that she brings to teaching. To Carlos and Jim for the Center for Economic Education and Entrepreneurship, who traveled to New York, rode a very crowded subway to East Harlem to teach a class on free trade to my sixth graders using plastic combs, pencils, and Skittles. How much more memorable that lesson was than reading Adam Smith. You inspire me with your creativity. To the PLC members, the trustees, the administration, the deans, the professors, the provost, and the president and his wife for welcoming me into a leadership role at the university. You inspire me every day as you help students solve the grand challenges of tomorrow. And finally, to my childhood friends, my college roommates, my business school study group, my colleagues turned friends, my boyfriend who makes me laugh every day, thank you for the sheer joy you give me, and you all inspire me to be a better person each and every day. Thank you very much.
So our next Alumni Wall of Fame recipient is Vance Kershner. After earning his bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering in 1979 from the University of Delaware, Vance began his career at DuPont, where he worked for 13 years. In 1987, he then founded Labware and currently serves as Chief Executive Officer and President of the company. This $400 million company has customers in 90 countries with regional headquarters in the UK, Brazil, South Africa, and Australia, and offices in 11 other countries. With its international network of partner distributors, Labware controls more than 20% of the market share, with customers in industrial sectors ranging from pharmaceuticals to food, from chemical to clinical, from environmental to mining and metals, and many more. Over 25% of this global company's employees are located right here in Delaware. Labware has received significant national and international recognition for product quality and customer service. These awards include the Scientific Computing and Instrumentation's Reader's Choice Award in the LIMS category, which Labware won consecutively from 2000 to 2008. In addition to his success at Labware, Vance is also general partner at Leading Edge Ventures, a venture capital firm specializing in seed and early stage investments. The firm focuses on information technology, vertically oriented business applications and services, healthcare, enterprise infrastructure, and applications in other high growth markets. He currently serves as chair of the College of Engineering Advisory Council, where according to Dean Ogunaki, he has played a significant, quote, played a significant role in guiding, assisting, sustaining, and promoting the general mission and enterprise of the college. Now, Vance, for today, had to travel out of the country for work and could not be with us, but he did prepare a short video, which we will share now.
So, wow, I am just so impressed that I had the opportunity to receive this award, and really want to thank the UDAA Alumni Association for this great honor. And I'm very sorry that I couldn't be here tonight with you. I want to take a minute or two and just give you a little bit of background about myself and how I found my way to the University of Delaware, and to put in perspective what it really has meant to me, what I've taken away from my experiences here. So I grew up in Northeast Philadelphia. My father was a pretzel baker. I worked there in the summers, but I also had very much hobbies where I liked to tinker with things. I was very much into street racing and hot rodding, and built my own go-kart when I was between 6th and 7th grade, and always wanted to know, well, how do things work? And what I can tell you is that I thought I had an answer for everything. I pretty much thought I knew how everything worked. But because I liked cars and things like that so much, and I knew engineers, mechanical engineers in particular, were responsible for the design of some really cool cars back in my day, I thought that I would try mechanical engineering, not really knowing what it was about. But I had an uncle who was an engineer, and I thought it was pretty interesting. So I came to Delaware not really knowing, like I think pretty much everyone in my class, what was in front of us and what we were going to learn. And it was the best time of my life, because I came here thinking I had answers for everything, and realizing very quickly I didn't have any answers. I really didn't know how most things worked. Only at a superficial level did I understand it. What I then took away from my engineering part of my education was that, how things worked at a much more detailed level, and also what I didn't know. I learned a lot about that. Things that I just couldn't imagine how it worked, and still don't for many things, and also knowing what you can't know. So for me, this was really big, because I realized that things are not just binary, yes and no, and that there's a lot of grades and a lot of variables in how systems work that I could never have contemplated. So getting that perspective of complex systems, about the probability weighting of different variables and how systems work and behave, was critical to me. Now, that knowledge of that has taken me very far in learning about things way outside of engineering. So although I started as an engineer, I am now still a software engineer. I've used this in all kind of facets of my business, from being in the restaurant business, to being a developer in the Caribbean, to being a game farmer and blueberry farmer in Africa. And throughout all of these experiences, I've relied on what I learned at University of Delaware to guide me and help me understand what are the right ways to make decisions and be successful. So for that, I really want to thank the University of Delaware, all the people that I interacted with, my professors, everyone here this is an amazing place, and I wish everybody would have an opportunity to take away what I've taken away from this wonderful organization. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Kathy Matt, and I am a proud blue hen and very happy to call UD my home, and was thrilled in 2009 to come back with the opportunity to serve as the Dean of the College of Health Sciences. It is certainly my distinct honor and pleasure to have the opportunity this evening to introduce Marie Pinizzato, the final Alumni Wall of Fame inductee. Let me tell you a little bit about Marie. Marie received her bachelor's degree in chemistry from the University of Pittsburgh, of course graduating magna cum laude, and her medical degree from Jefferson Medical College, now of course known as Cindy Kimmel College of Medicine in Philadelphia. She completed her residency at what was then called the Medical Center of Delaware and now is Christiana Care, where she practiced obstetrics and gynecology for 9 years, and of course she still maintains those privileges. Of course, wherever she goes locally, she is stopped by women all of the time who want to tell her about their children and how they've grown up since she delivered them many, many years ago, and how they are doing so great and how grateful they are for all that she has done. Her friends call her actually the mayor because she knows everybody and she knows all of these families. She has such a caring touch and great concern for patients, and they never forget her. In 2008, Marie earned her master's degree in business administration from the University of Delaware. And so she then used those skills to then start a drug safety solution LLC. She currently serves as the Chief Executive Officer of the Choral Foundation, an organization focused on healthcare and education. She has held numerous executive positions in pharmaceutical companies, women health industries, including Wyeth Pharmaceuticals, Endo Pharmaceuticals, Inc., where she was Senior Director of Global Safety and Pharmacovigilance Department. She has served on the UD's President's Leadership Council since 2012, and she has a very strong voice and serves on the President's Leadership Group at Jefferson Hospital in Philadelphia. And we, of course, at UD are very honored, and in my college, to have her serve on our College of Health Sciences Advisory Council. She is a trustee at Christiana Care Health Systems and sits on the board of a number of nonprofits, including Multiple Myeloma Research Foundation, the Pregnancy Foundation, and Eisenhower Health, where she established a residency program. She currently serves as a co-chair for UD's comprehensive fundraising and engagement campaign, Delaware First, of course, the campaign for the University of Delaware. So I personally am especially grateful to Marie for her friendship, for her encouragement, for her continuous support, for the campus, the STAR campus research projects that are happening there. I have to say that it was actually Carol and Marie who believed at a very early stage back in 2010 when Pat Harker and I sat and talked about what I would say, in many ways, people said to me, were crazy ideas about what we could build on that old Chrysler site. And they had enough belief in that project to give $1 million as a test gift to the College of Health Sciences. Their belief in the project and their gift, of course, totally changed the future of what would happen on that site. And you can see right now what's happening there. And of course, if that wasn't enough, then in November of 2017, along with Carol Ammon, Marie made a transformational gift of $25 million to support the new biopharmaceutical innovation building on the UD Star campus. It is truly transforming the university, it's transforming the city, it's transforming the state, and it will take us to a national reputation unheard of before. So Marie, I'm so proud to congratulate you on your induction into the Alumni Wall of Fame.
There's good and bad with going last. The bad is everybody has said a lot of what I want to say. The good is I'm going to make it really short because everybody has said what I wanted to say, and everybody wants to get their cocktails. That was quite an introduction, and it's an honor and privilege to receive this award, and I feel very blessed that Carol and I can give back to such a fine institution. I'm with a very esteemed group, especially Lauren and Zach, who I'm impressed. When I read your bios, I'm like, wow, I could have never done that in college. I couldn't do it now. Anyway, when you go to medical school, you're really not prepared for business. I mean, we study medicine, we know science, and that's the bottom line, but we're very ill prepared to run the practice and have a business, to really know business. So when I ventured into the pharmaceutical industry, I thought I should get an MBA. I should really understand business, and I got my MBA at the University of Delaware, and I have to say I received a fine education, and to this day I know what net present value of the dollar means. I mean, I never knew that before, and so I can use spreadsheets and everything, and it has prepared me to sit on a number of boards. I do sit on the finance committee at the University of Delaware. I feel very proud to have gone to the U of D, and every time, again, this pride when I come walk around this campus and see what's been done, and as Kathy said, we went to the Chrysler building at the time and saw the drop of what the Star campus would be. When we go there now, and I would say our dog Simone was a recent visitor there, and what they've done with that facility is amazing. And putting Delaware first, the biopharmaceutical innovation building, I cannot tell you what it's going to do for the state and this university. Not to be redundant, but I'm very proud of this institution. Carol couldn't be here today, but I'd like to thank my two closest friends in the world, Greg and Tony, for being here. Tony has two children that have graduated from the University of Delaware. I'm hoping to have two more children that go to the University of Delaware, if they choose. But again, thank you for this award, and thank you for coming.
So again, when we look at our Wall of Fame recipients, going back to graduation, these are people who are changing the world. And they are putting Delaware first, and they are keeping UD in their hearts. So you are setting an example for others. So once again, just congratulations on everything you've accomplished. In addition, we are indebted to and grateful for the members of the university community, particularly those who have nominated our award recipients. I hope that many of you feel inspired to nominate a blue hen you feel best exemplifies your award criteria in the future. We find that the list of incredible people accomplishing incredible things across the globe is long, but our challenge is in identifying those individuals, so please keep that in mind, nominate them with the UD Alumni Association, and help us do our job and carry out our objective of increasing the visibility and impact of UD on the world. I'd like to thank the Alumni Association Awards Committee again for the outstanding job they did in selecting this year's honorees. I would also like to recognize my fellow UDAA board members for their service and dedication to the university and the Alumni Association. Through their loyalty, support, enthusiasm, they continually demonstrate that they are, in fact, Blue Hens forever. A special thank you also to the family and friends of our award recipients, many of you here tonight. Your loyalty and dedication to our students and alumni is greatly appreciated. So, finally, on behalf of the entire UD Alumni Association Board of Directors, thank you very much for celebrating with us this evening. Congratulations again to this year's award recipients. And please join us in the lobby, as you mentioned, for drinks and cocktails, well, cocktails afterwards to further honor our recipients of awards tonight. So thank you.